Welcome back to Triple Alpha Sports Talk. I'm Josh. That's Bryce over there, and that's Roy in person here. First episode with Roy in the studio. How do you feel? How does it feel to be in person for it, Roy?
I feel pretty good. Got you guys ready to go. Brought some beer, so we're one. Somebody will drink. We'll be happy. We'll do a toast.
Out of screen right here, there is a full 30-pack poured into a beverage jar. It's called.
So this will be
it's going to be a good night in the studio.
It is going to be a fun episode here.
We already filmed some bonus video trivia that's probably up by now, so go check that out as well.
Yep, and we haven't announced the winners of the giveaway, but we've selected our winners. One has already been finalized.
Yep. The other one, we're just waiting for some verification.
Correct.
Winner. So.
I will announce on stream the winner of the Instagram giveaway, who we went first. It was Mason Miller. Congratulations, you won. And since he went first, he got his choice of any of the 4 cards, and he chose the rookie Ellie De La Cruz card. I think it's the right selection. But most potential, I'll say.
Yeah. The TikTok winner was Alex Rosiano.
Yeah.
If he doesn't verify it, sorry, I just announced your name on the podcast. You don't get it. So.
We'll edit it out if he doesn't win.
Yeah.
But congratulations to the 2 winners, and thank you for everybody who followed, liked, subscribed, commented, everything. We had some really good growth on the channel this week. We really appreciated it.
Yeah, got some merch.
Got some merch on. Got some hats. Some T-shirts, sweatshirts are going to be coming soon. So really starting to accelerate here.
We will be doing more of these giveaways. You guys clearly like them, so maybe the next few weeks we'll do another one. Baseball cards. Just tell us something that you want to be in the giveaway, and we can throw it in there.
Exactly. We're all about giving and trying to grow the channel. So
the signed helmet up front is one of them that's for sale. So you could win that in a giveaway.
You would have to really tell your whole school. Your whole school would have to subscribe for me to give that away. So just letting you know. I think that's going to rock us right into our breakdowns for football again. We got another 3 teams. This week we got the Jets, Vikings, and Broncos. And we will have a star guest. Damn it, Roy. We will have a star guest in for the Vikings, but I think we're going to rock first with the Jets, and Roy's going to lead us off. Or, excuse me, Bryce is going to lead us off. Excuse me.
Here, you want to read off mine? Filling up here.
All right, do it. Yeah. So we got the Jets here. They finished the season with 7-10. They have a first round pick at number 10, a 3rd round, 4th round, 2 4th rounds, a 6th round, 7th round, and 2 7th round, 3 7th rounds for this draft this year. Zach Wilson was their number 1 quarterback, as bad as he was. What else? That's for Josh.
Yep.
What else we got here? So I can see.
There, you can look at mine. Just read like Zach Wilson's stats for the stuff.
Well, Zach Wilson, he finished 12 for 12. He played 12 games, had 2,271 yards passing this year. He was absolutely terrible. So that's because the first game of the year. What's his name? Aaron Rodgers went down. So
first drive. What did he have? Yeah, he had 0 for 1 on the season. I mean, it pretty much killed their season after the first drive. You knew it was pretty much over.
Yeah.
So they had some good quality players. They got C.J. Mosley and Quinnen Williams are some of their better defensive players.
Correct.
They have $22 million in cap space. Is that what you had on there?
Yeah, we scrolling down.
They finished the offense 31st total offense this year. So you can see how bad their offense was, but their defense was number 3 overall. So
true.
You can just tell where they lived and died from.
Correct. Yeah, going over some of the rushing stats. Breece Hall, after coming back from his ACL injury, looked fantastic. 4.5 a carry behind the offensive line that most people graded pretty below average. I think he's definitely pushed Dalvin Cook out of town. He ended up getting released. He's definitely the main back there for the future with a couple years left. And at receiving, it was really just a Garrett Wilson show, even without Aaron Rodgers. Most people thought Garrett Wilson were going to take that next step into being a superstar, even though he might not have done that because he didn't have any pass game. Every target went to him, basically, and he still shows how good he is, especially at a young age. But outside of that, there was really no offensive production.
No, they're just because the quarterback play was so bad.
Yeah. So. Bryce, what are your initial thoughts of their season? I know that, once you lose your quarterback, especially like Aaron Rodgers, it's hard. But
they just didn't have an offense. There were so many low-scoring games where you just know if Aaron Rodgers is in the game, they're going to put up more points than that, especially with just the studs they have at running back. They brought in Dalvin Cook, who he was released, right?
Yes.
In the offseason. But, he was a star running back just 2 years ago. So he put up a ton of numbers behind Breece Hall. Didn't look like it, but I mean, he's a solid running back to have secondary. And then Aaron Rodgers coming back. Garrett Wilson's obviously a great receiver, and Aaron Rodgers has always made his number one receiver better. I mean, every number one he's ever had they went from mediocre or good to great whenever they got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Allen Lazard was a number one 2 years ago and was a solid receiver in the league.
Yeah. And he just struggled this year because Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he just didn't have him. So I don't think this team has much to worry about, honestly. The biggest ifs is Aaron Rodgers coming back, how he will be coming back. We've seen him come back from injuries before, but never at 40 years old or however old he is.
I'm honestly glad, just as a football fan, that Aaron Rodgers did not have to rush back from that injury. And, I mean, he was on an unbelievable trajectory of coming back from that Achilles injury. But you never know what that could hurt in the future, if he had to came back. This team, their defense was legit. Roy mentioned it earlier. I mean, third in the league. I mean, you have a number 3 defense in the league with a healthy Aaron Rodgers and stuff. I mean, that's a really good football team. But with him going down, he didn't have to rush back because they were not going to make the playoffs. Now they get the number 10 pick and honestly could really help the Jets because if you remember, the Jets lose their second-round pick this year. They don't have it. But it would have been a first if Aaron Rodgers played the whole season. That would have went to Green Bay. Now, because he didn't play, it is a second. So, this could be a blessing in disguise if you ask the Jets. But
I mean, because they're going to have to. Their free agency was their big one is Bacon. I mean, he's a free agent. I think they're going to let him walk to save some money and try to get. And they're going to draft it. I think they're going after offensive linemen to kind of surround themselves to protect Aaron Rodgers and get that offense moving. I really think they're going to try to get another receiver at some point. They got to get. They're going to have. Obviously, Zach Wilson's. What's his salary for next year?
I believe I don't know what it is exactly, but
he's still on a rookie, isn't he?
He is still on a rookie deal, but he was drafted pretty high. It's got to be around the $10 to $15 million range.
Yeah. They've got to move on from him. I mean, I know it's tough to get rid of him now. You might keep on there, maybe a show up, maybe somebody will take a flyer and give you a 7th round pick for him or something.
Yeah,
but they've got to seek a trade for him, and then in this draft, I'd pick a quarterback late. Austin Reed was the one I was looking at when I was doing thing. He is an older quarterback for Western Kentucky, 6'2". He had a really good year, and they got him going about the 4th, 5th, 6th round, somewhere around there. I'd see him. I mean, Western Kentucky had a good passing offense. They just weren't a great team. Yeah. And I think he's a guy that could learn from watching Aaron Rodgers for about 2 or 3 years, whatever Aaron Rodgers
if he plays that long.
Yeah. If he plays that long, whatever he's got left. And I think if you move on from Wilson, you could get a quarterback late, get a backup quarterback. I mean, like I said, they got 3 7th round picks and a couple 4th, 6th rounds. So they got to get some offensive help. I think with Rodgers back, their offense will click more. Their running back will be better.
Yeah.
They just need offensive alignment, and I think they got to get some depth on that defense. I mean, their defense was good, but you get more depth on it, they're going to be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're not losing a whole lot in free agency. I mean, Solomon Thomas, Randall Cobb, Bryce Huff, Mekhi Becton, but I believe he has an option, so they could bring him back. He might hit the open market. I'm not sure, but I think this team, if they can stay healthy, it was the same thing as last year. If this team stays healthy, this team can be really good. So I think the Jets. I mean, most teams thought the Jets would make a Super Bowl run this year. So they're healthy, and especially now they get a top 10 pick to add in there. This team can be very scary very quickly. So
I definitely agree with Roy with the quarterback situation. Aaron Rodgers might not come back at all. That's something that you have to think about. Like, he could come back, play in one game, and his Achilles is rubber bands right now, so it snaps back in half.
He's a freak of nature. I mean, I think he's going to come back and be just something ridiculous.
I agree. I've seen it happen multiple times as a Bears fan. So
it's just ridiculous. Zach Wilson has $11 million next year.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
But, I mean, the Packers set the template. You got to draft the quarterback to sit behind Aaron Rodgers. It obviously works. Yeah. So, in my opinion, you should be taking a quarterback.
All right, that's going to lead us into the Minnesota Vikings. Last year, they finished with a 7-10 record, and they hold the 11 pick in the first round, a 2, 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s, and a 7. So they got some picks. Rattle off some stats. Kirk Cousins played 8 games before he tore his Achilles and was having a good season, 2,300 yards, 18 touchdowns to 5 picks. They did trade for Josh Dobbs later in the season and ended up getting benched. He only played 5 games with a 5-touchdown, 5-pick ratio. And then it was kind of a mess after that. They let Dalvin Cook walk to let Alexander Madison take over the show. And he had 8 or 16 games played, and only had 700 yards and 0 touchdowns, maybe a disappointing season, and they have released him since then. And then receiving-wise, it was the Jay Jettis show in the games that he was healthy with 1,000 yards and 68 catches, 5 touchdowns. And a pretty big rookie season from Jordan Addison, I would say, who finished with 17 games played, 900 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So really good rookie season from him. We're just going to do a breakdown of the season, and I'm going to let Roy Roy take us off first. What are your thoughts of the Vikings this year?
I mean, when Kirk Cousins was there, I thought they were a pretty good football team. I mean, he's a pretty good quarterback. I thought they could do a lot more. I mean, Justin Jefferson, by far, I think is probably the best receiver in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it gets C.D. Lamb, gives him a run for his money, but he's the best receiver. Yeah. This team, I mean, they were playoff bound if Kirk Cousins didn't get hurt. And their defense, I mean, you look at their offense was 10th and their overall, and their defense was 16th. I thought it was a pretty good team that can build off of this year. Now, what decisions they make is what's going to see where they're going to do. So,
D, I'm gonna hit you now. What were your thoughts of this season as a whole?
It was a rodeo. That's the best word for it. That's really. I mean, when we were in a good stride. I mean, we started off 1-4. Jefferson gets hurt. It looked like the season we were just going to blow it up. But you end up winning 5 games in a row, and you're in Green Bay, and then you just have a freak injury like that with Cousins. Yeah. He goes down. I mean, after that, there was really no expectation. So I think they just played to their greatest potential. I mean, they had 4 starting quarterbacks as a total the entire season. So
yeah, I mean, when you go through 4 quarterbacks, it is hard to have a good season in general. Yeah. Bryce, what are your initial thoughts of the season?
Yeah, I mean, there was just an injury-riddled season. They were definitely a good team before all the injuries stacked up. My biggest issue with the Vikings is their run game. I don't think that they had much of a run game.
Yeah.
I didn't think letting Dalvin Cook go was a good idea for them because I thought he was a top running back in the league. He didn't pan out to be as good as a runner this year as he was in the past.
Yeah, so he's getting older too with the
injuries. You thought they were going to make a run there for a little bit with the pass or not. I mean, that guy was unbelievable. That was like a Linsanity run for a while. But they just kind of fizzled off, and then got another quarterback fizzled off. That's just what happens whenever you have backup quarterbacks coming in. They get plays on, or they get film on them, and then they can't play anymore.
Yeah, so. For me on the season, you lose Cousins and Jefferson, and you still throw up a 7-10 record. That's respectable. I mean, you had a resurgence year for Hunter on the defensive line. I mean, his season with injury, or his career with injuries, was slowly going down. I mean, he looked like a whole new man this year again. I mean, was on the league leader in sacks, which is great. They let go of Cook. I agree that. I mean, they had no run game, and I know, Darrell, you can attest to this. I felt like the first half of the season, when Madison was the guy, that team fumbled more than anyone in the history of football. It was crazy.
Man, I think they had. I think through the first 2 games they had at least 7 turnovers.
Yeah,
I think it might have been all 7 fumbles. Actually,
yeah. I remember we were watching a game at Brennan's house, and they fumbled like 4 times in one game, and I mean they just couldn't hold on to the rock. And you can't win games when you turn the football over. But yeah, once Kirk Cousins goes down, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can expect. Especially with no run game that they had, that's a passing offense, and when Kirk Cousins isn't there, Josh Dobbs, Nick Mullins, they're only going to get you so far in the passing game. They do have quite a bit of impending free agents. This team's going to it could look differently, or they're going to have to shell out some money. Daniil Hunter is expected to hit free agency. Do you bring him back? Kirk Cousins is the big question mark. He's 35 years old at the moment, coming off an Achilles injury, which we know is serious. Dalton Reisner, Cam Akers, they trade for free agent. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of free agents, so they got a lot of decisions to make. Darrell, I'm going to hit you with the first question, and mine's going to be about Jay Jettis. Jay Jettis has come out and said he doesn't want to sign his extension until he knows the quarterback situation and that whoever it is, that even if he approves of it, is a passing offense first versus a run offense first. What do you think about that in just a general term, and do you agree with it or not?
I mean, in his standpoint, you can't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean that's you're talking about the guy that's the best wide receiver in football right now. Yeah. He's still entering his prime. I mean, he had over 1,000 yards playing only 8 games last year. I've been saying this it's one of the most interesting times to be a Vikings fan right now. There's so many questions up in the air of like, which way are we going?
Yeah.
I don't. Cousins, I think, is just the driver to everything. He's the catalyst to what we're going to do within the next month before the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to pay him over $40 million? I don't know. Is he worth that after an Achilles injury like that? I mean, he's played well, but I mean, Jettas wise, I would do anything to sign him.
You don't know about signing Kirko Chains?
Kirko Chains. Huggins, anything.
But from a Vikings perspective, it's all in on Jefferson. You trust him. Okay, so and I agree. I think a lot of people do, but that coming out and saying those kind of comments can really spark some conversation. Roy's got a question for you as well.
So you're like you just said, Kirk Cousins is the key. So was he? Would you want him to leave, or because you've got a pick here that you could. You've got receivers. I thought Addison was awesome. I think Osborne and then Jefferson. You got and Hawkinson. You got 4 receivers that if you got a rookie quarterback in there could probably just jump in like a C.J. Stroud. So do you go let Kirk Cousins walk and then get a quarterback in the first round, or do you say, hey, let's bring Cousins back and then get a running back in the first round and see what would you choose?
If it were me right now, man, that's a tough one, but might get a lot of criticism. But I'd like to see Kirk back at least another year. I wouldn't want to sign him to any type of extension. I was hoping that maybe we give him a 1-year deal, come back, see what happens, and then go from there. But I've also been telling people if he is to walk and we let him go, we're hearing a bunch of rumors about the Falcons. You can't deny it, but I was saying I want to target if Jaden Daniels drops that far with the 11th pick.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yep. Or I said this other guy too, Michael Penix. Michael Penix, he's a left-handed quarterback who's got a cannon. That's a perfect guy to put into that offense.
And he throws an accurate ball. He might not have the greatest arm, but he does have to throw an accurate ball. So, okay, now Bryce is going to shoot a question for you.
Yeah, I wanted to know, do you think that with all these contracts coming up and needing to re-sign so many people, do you think that you're at the point where you should start looking towards a rebuild or just go all in this season?
I think right now, if we're going to keep Jefferson, we kind of have to go all in. If we blow it up right now, he's he's in his final year of his contract. He's making around just under $20 million this year. He's going to be looking to get that money ASAP. So I just think if you're going to do anything this year, we gotta go all in. And if Kirk walks, I think if he walks, I don't know if that's.
Do you think your team right now is good enough to beat a Bills, a Chiefs, Cowboys with healthy players?
I will say I don't know if we're good enough to beat them. We'll be in the damn game with them. That's for damn
all
sure.
Right.
Every single game of the Vikings is, as a Bears fan, is a nail biter. So I think they can compete with anyone if they play at their best.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you're right. You hit on the button. You got a talent right now with Jefferson that you've got to go all in. But I don't think it's with Cousins. I think that team is too talented right now. You spend your free agent money on your defense, guys, and bring your defense back because you had a pretty good defense. It was 16th. I think it could improve. But in the first round, I think you're right. You go either Daniels, Penix. I even think Bo Nix wouldn't be bad in there. And then my boy JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
I think any four of those guys.
Slide in JJ.
Hell yeah, man. JJ is awesome.
He's going to drop to the second.
I know he won't. I think he's a Denver Bronco anyway. But I think Bo Nix actually is not a bad little pick right there. Because I think Davis is going to go too, or Daniels is going to go too high. And then I think Bo Nix with his experience and those receivers, and he loves in that offense that he went out there, they threw a ton. I think he can. Yeah. Penix would be bad, but I like Bo Nix, and I think you can get a running back later in rounds. Like I had Braylon Edwards from or Brayton Allen, from Wisconsin. Is a hell of a running back. I think he would actually be pretty good in that offense right now.
Chris would love that, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Damn Wisconsin.
Yeah, Grizz would love that. Shout out him. But
Grizz will be on in a few episodes.
Yep, Grizz will be on in a few episodes.
Yeah,
that's going to be a good one.
Get after his ass.
We will. Okay, I have a hypothetical scenario for you, and I don't know how much we have left, but hypothetically, if let's say Cousins does sign in free agency before the draft to a different team outside of Minnesota, would you want them to use number 10 It's 10, correct? I said that correctly. Yeah, or 11. Excuse
11.
me. Would you like them to use 11 on a quarterback? And in this, I'm going to say in this hypothetical scenario, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Jane Daniels are all off the board. Would you like them to take a quarterback at 10, or would you rather them go maybe a defensive player a different way, or
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of hits on the running game too a little bit. I definitely would still want to take a quarterback with this offense that we have right now. I haven't really hit on the running game too much as we talked about. I mean, we don't know what Ty Chandler's going to bring to the table. We kind of put him as the number one guy halfway through the season last year. Cam Akers is injury prone. I think if those two guys are healthy, we'll be fine for now with that offense that we have. But we also, I don't know, man. It's tough to say right now.
And I know there's a lot of talk right now of J.J. McCarthy going to Denver, but I'm going to be honest. They hold the pick over Denver. Minnesota does. And if Kirko Chains is gone, because a lot of things that I've heard is Bo Nix and Penix are not going to be first-round guys. So I think,
you want JJ there?
Hey, JJ would be a star for the Minnesota Vikings.
No, he doesn't like it.
5 passes and a natty.
Doesn't like it.
I don't know, man.
All right. I got one more question before we get off this. I want you to predict the NFC North for next season.
I mean,
there's a ton right now. There's a ton of questions for two teams individually, the Bears and the Vikings. So I want you to just pick right now. Where do you think they finish?
I think the Lions are going to take the division again, as much as I hate to say it. They're those guys right now.
Yeah.
All Goff has to do is play average with that. I mean, with that offense they got in Hutchinson on their defense. So I got them at 1. It kills me to say, but I mean, you watched Jordan Love last year in the playoffs. You see him
God
at the end
damn
of
it,
the
that
season.
pisses me off that you said that.
God
damn it.
He just showed me.
I hate that team.
I'm gonna say I can't stand them. Grizz is gonna love me for saying that, but I think they struck gold with another guy there. They always hit. It seems they just hit the lotto with the quarterback.
It's ridiculous.
So
you have him sit behind an all-time great for 3 years.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I think us and the Bears, we're gonna be. I don't know. I don't see us being the favorites in that division. We have nothing to lose, but we will be in a lot of headlines leading up to it.
I do think, though, with the potential that the Bears and the Vikings both have for next season, this could be one of the best divisions in the NFL.
I mean, it definitely could be. There's a lot of quarterback questions in this division. I mean, at the end of the day, quarterbacks, you look at Minnesota, that's a great offense. They lose Kirk Cousins. I mean, they just don't have it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of quarterback questions in this division.
Yeah.
So
and you hit on our defense too, man. You got Brian Flores as a defensive coordinator. Yeah. We're hoping to re-sign Danielle Hunter. And DJ Wanham to our squad last year. So, I mean, we were kind of shorthanded with injuries on defense as well. So, I think if they just keep that stride they were playing later in the or later in the season they had this past season, I mean, I think they can be just fine. It's just a matter of what's going to lead up to that in the offseason.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, Darrell. Good insight. Got some good questions in there, and we're happy to have you on. And
you better be ready for JJ. Just accept it. He'll be there. He'll read you in championship.
You'll hate being a Vikings fan.
Darrell, I have to see Kirk Cousins leave before I think he's gone. I don't care about the rumors today. I still think that he's going to come back. So,
guys, that's all I got to say.
Yep. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks for the special guest.
Yep.
D. That takes us on to Denver Broncos. In 2023, they went 8-9. They have round 1, pick 12, a round 3, a 4, 2 5s, and a 6. Russell Wilson being their leading passer with just over 3,000 yards. News came out he was cut. A lot of turmoil in that area. He's gone, but he's allowed to look for teams until free agency actually happens. Rushing wise, they had Javonte Williams with almost 800 yards. McLaughlin had 410, and then Russell Wilson 341. Receiving, I thought they kind of slacked in this. Sutton was their leading receiver with 772 yards. We all thought Jerry Jeudy might take a step up this year. He only ended up having 758. Both those guys played 16 games, so there's not a lot of excuse for that. A lot of issues in this whole team. A lot of free agents coming up.
None of these guys I know super well.
No.
You guys might know some of them.
No, they really are not losing anyone here in free agency.
Yeah.
So in that regard, they're going to have their money to spend. You know,
But they have negative $19 million in cap space right now.
With the cap going up, though, I think that pretty much takes them to even, and they can restructure so much. They're going to have probably like 10, 15.
They're negative after I looked at today. I think they're still going to be negative, probably like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something they can work around.
They can probably work around and get to about 5, 10, 15 in that range.
I think they're going to make a trade.
Yeah.
I think Courtland Sutton or Jerry Judy's gone. I think they're gone. I think one of the receivers is gone. I mean, their production has been absolutely pathetic.
Yeah.
And not to blame. I mean, Russell Wilson was absolutely horrible this year. But then you put a Jarrett Stidham or whatever, Stidham, and he was terrible. But I thought Javon Williams actually showed he was a good running back just on a bad team. But they got some. I mean, I looked at it. They got some players they can get out and save some money. And Sutton will probably be their biggest one since he is owed. Oh, I looked it up.
Yeah. How about you, Bryce? What do you think of the Broncos this year and stuff?
I think, to me, the Broncos are in the worst position in the entire NFL. I mean, they went all in a few years ago, and absolutely nothing came about it. I don't even think they made a playoff berth, did they?
No,
So,
they haven't made the playoffs since they got Wilson.
It's been horrible. They brought back Sean Payton out of retirement. I mean, I don't particularly like that guy. I don't think he likes to stay around.
Best coach of one of the best coaches.
You can say that, but then again, times got tough in New Orleans, and he hopped out. Broncos went all in, and he decided to come back. I'm not a fair weather guy. I don't like that shit. Stay with your team. You know, that's kind of how I feel about him.
The problem when he had no quarterback, and it's just like there's no quarterback.
I can understand
that. I mean, I think they ran into some trouble with money and stuff there too.
I mean,
so
you can say he had no quarterback. You can say he had no quarterback. Russell Wilson had over 3,000 passing yards this year.
Yeah, and I didn't even think Russell Wilson was that bad this year. I mean, Roy, you said you weren't very high on him. I mean, at the end of the day, if you play 15 games, 3,000 yards isn't a lot. That's a lot of like checkdowns. But 26 touchdowns to 8 picks. I mean, you take that all day long. I'm not saying the team was great, and maybe I don't know. We will never see behind the closed doors what Russell Wilson was like there. But to me, Russell Wilson was not the problem. They have almost no run game. I mean, Javonte Williams was good. He got 3
points. Come in until late.
Yeah, he was coming off an injury, but 3.6 a carry is just not going to cut it. At the end of the day, you have to be over 4 in the NFL, or you're not productive. Jerry Jeudy has not taken that next step. Bryce talked about that a little earlier. I mean, that was a guy taking over CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. Yeah. He's just not producing. And it might be the offense that Sean McVay is having. I don't know. But this team, when they made that trade for Russell Wilson, that told you they were all in. They gave up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they went out and got Sean McVay. I don't know Sean Payton.
I keep saying that too.
Yeah. I'm not saying that the two didn't get along, but to me, you owe Russell Wilson so much money. It's guaranteed. Like, it's not like you release him and you lose all of it. You lose some, but to move on from him and still have to pay him $85 million over the next 2 seasons, I don't know how you don't just move him to a backup. At the end of the day, I'm just shocked they're letting him go for nothing because this team doesn't have a quarterback now. They don't have one.
This tells me they're looking to trade up in this draft and get their franchise quarterback.
So what the whole thing is Sean Payton's offense. He was good when he had Drew Brees.
Yeah.
The guy that throws the ball down the field
50 times a game
and that's what they do. And that's Sean Payton's offense, and that's where he succeeds. He has not found the quarterback. When he got there, and the Broncos have not drafted well. No. I mean, they've traded any player that they was good to try to get draft picks, and they haven't drafted well. And going all in on Russell Wilson, who has struggled over the last 2 years in Seattle, and he can't throw the ball down the field. He's a check down guy. Always has been. He's always relied on a really good defense when he was in Seattle to run the ball and then to throw it short and get some passes. And that's that's been Russell Wilson's MO the entire time. Sean Payton likes the ball go down the field. He's a offensive, let's get it going.
Guru.
Yeah, and I think he's a great coach. And I just think the problem is that he's been limited with the quarterbacks he's got. I mean, when he was in New Orleans, he just couldn't find anybody that could do what he wanted to get. They ended up getting Jameson Winston, but Derek Carr is last. I mean, he needs a quarterback, and I think he'll turn this around. I just think I think this is draft's guy and actually got a good quarterback to throw down the field. I think they're going to go J.J. McCarthy, and I think that's where he's going to get it.
Okay, and what
limited picks this year?
What happens when J.J. McCarthy's off the board before they pick? We just talked about the Vikings. They have the pick in front of them.
Yeah.
So unless I'm sure if the Vikings are looking for a quarterback, they're probably not going to flip with the Broncos 1-1.
No.
So the Vikings are going to have to jump 2 spots. Excuse me, I'm getting a mix up. The Broncos are going to have to jump 2 spots,
but they don't have the capital to do that.
Exactly.
So limited to go.
So I'll give you a hypothetical scenario. What happens when Williams, May, and Daniels are the first 3 picks? Just hypothetically, okay. McCarthy goes 1 pick before to Minnesota. What do? Are you taking Bo Nix or Penix here?
Probably not here. I think what you might, if you don't, I don't think they'll go. I think he would. That's where they would probably trade down and try to get more picks, and then try to get like a Penix or a Bo Nix in the second round.
I agree.
Because you can't sit there and say, "Hey, I'm going to pick those guys at that spot," unless you really think they're that good.
You have different grades,
and I don't think that's where they're
at. Like we said, they're not losing anything in free agency. Really, they're negative. Yeah, we talked $19 million in cap.
Even better. I mean, their offense was 26 and their defense was 29.
Yeah, this team just, like Roy did say, they have not drafted well. I mean, I'm going to be honest. In my opinion, I think that when you lose Russell Wilson and you might be talking about getting a rookie quarterback, this team needs to take a few steps back and maybe let the Chiefs finish this window that they've got. I mean, they're in a hard division. You got the Chiefs. You got the Chargers, who still are a good team on paper. They had a down year this year, but the Chargers are still a good team. I think this team maybe needs to take 2 steps back so they can take 5 steps forward later.
That's probably what they're going to have to do. I mean, Sean Payton's brought in to change the culture, change what they're doing, and that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to start. I mean, I could see him trading some players for picks now and just saying, "Hey, we're resetting this whole damn thing and going something different."
Yep. I don't think we have anything else other for the Vikings, so that's going to do it for football. We're going to go right into baseball. Before we do the AL East, we do have our predictions that we made during the month of December, January, the winter meeting time, on where we thought some of the top free agents would go. We are down with the Chapman signing. He went to the Giants, and neither of us had him. And what's the other one that I missed? Bellinger. We all had the Cubs eventually after we made some changes, so we all got a point there. So the score is still Bryce has 3 points. He got Shohei, Yamamoto, and Bellinger. And then me and Roy both have Shohei and Bellinger. We missed the Yamamoto. So Bryce has a 1-pick lead on us, and there's only 2 players left. We have Snell and Montgomery, the Boris pitchers, and some pitching injuries have occurred in the last week. So, maybe some windows are opening up, even if it is a short-term deal. I'm going to start with Monty because he is considered the second one. Bryce, I'll start with you. Do you have any changes? You have him going to the Giants.
That's fine.
You're going to keep it. Roy, what do you think?
I'm changing him to Boston. I think he's going to Boston.
I'm just going to type in Red Sox. And Roy, I am going to piggyback off you. I believe he is also going to go to the Red Sox. So that was my change.
Red Rocks.
Oh, oops. The Red Rocks.
1 beer and you're already struggling.
Yeah.
Getting drunk over there?
My knee is broken.
That'll take us into Blake Snell as well. Bryce, you have him going to the Phillies, and he has been rumored there. You're going to keep it the same?
Keep that.
Roy, you have him going to the Giants.
Clearly I have an knack for this.
Clear. I am changing him to the Phillies.
Changing him to the Phillies?
Oh, look at that. Clearly I have a knack.
Roy, with that, you will need Montgomery to go to the Red Sox, or you will lose. Or as of now, you can change.
Bud? Well, the
Blake
Giants
Snell.
are not going to go with him, so
Blake Snell.
Because I actually think he might go to Boston too.
Snell, I don't know. I haven't really read a lot about Snell. They say the Giants are a question.
The Yankees offered him a contract.
I know. I don't think
Yankees don't true. It wasn't a true offer.
I do not believe he is going to the Yankees. But God damn it, I'm typing in the freaking Yankees.
Oh, you're wasting the pick there.
You know what? If he goes to the Yankees now, I'm going to be even more happy. I don't think he's really going to go to the Yankees, but I'm going to type it in, and that's going to be locked in at least for a week. Next Tuesday, we might change our minds.
No.
You want to take a break through this, Roy?
No.
No.
No. I think it's like my 5th beer already.
It's like my 3rd or 4th.
In the middle. All right, the first team in the AL East, and this is in no particular order, is going to be the Boston Red Sox. Last year finished 78-84, respectable record, just a little bit below 500. Their key losses in free agency are Adam Duvall, who is still a free agent, Justin Turner, who did go to Toronto. They did trade Chris Sale to the Braves, and they did trade Alex Verdugo to the New York Yankees. Their key additions, they signed C.J. Cron just a few days ago to a minor league deal, expected to make the roster. They signed Liam Hendricks coming off Tommy John. They traded for Tyler O'Neill from the St. Louis Cardinals, and they get Vaughn Grissom in the deal that sent Chris Sale to Atlanta. Their projected lineup is Jalen Duran, Rafael Devers, Trevor Story, Tristan Casas, Yoshida, I don't know how to say his first name, Tyler O'Neill, Wilmer Abreu, Emmanuel Valdez, and Connor Wong. I have never heard of a couple of those players. With a rotation of Lucas Giolito, but breaking news today, Lucas Giolito might be taking Tommy John and miss the season. So that is a question mark right now. With Nick Pivetta, Brian Bayo, is that how you say it? Bello.
Never heard of him.
Cutter Crawford, actually, he had a good rookie year the other year.
Yeah.
Cutter Crawford and Tanner Houck. I don't know why.
Garrett Whitlock.
Oh, I messed that up. I don't have their bullpen in there. Dang it.
I got it.
What's their bullpen?
Well, their bullpen, you got Chris Weinzett, Greg Weiser, and
Yeah.
Chris Martin. And then I don't know who their closer is. Kenley Jansen was it, but he's out right now. Nobody else really in the bullpen. It's really good.
A pretty bad bullpen after that.
I'll start.
I'll start with you, Bryce, because or you want bro, you can start. Go ahead.
I'm filling up my beer.
That's right. I'll start.
Go ahead. What do you think?
It's the Boston Red Sox. Fuck them.
Maybe I should have started.
So this team, pitching wise, they're going to struggle. I mean, their Giolito was probably their best one. The only one that has anything that's any good is Garrett Whitlock, and he was a Yankee, and he's a Yankee killer. I mean, when it gets to us, I think he threw almost no hitters against us. He just Crawford had a good rookie year. Bello wasn't he struggles. They got a young pitching staff who just struggles around. Their pitching's going to struggle. It'd be tough all year. Their relief pitching, other than Greg Weiser, was really just everybody else just kind of struggled. Their offense, you got Devers. Obviously, who was just a stud.
Rafi freaking scoops, baby.
I can't.
He scoops them suckers, doesn't he?
He is Garrett Cole tonight.
Yes, he is.
Garrett Cole cannot get that fucker out.
No.
If you need a third baseman on the show, get Scoops.
You can have a curveball in the dirt. Rafi is scooping that sucker out of here.
And then I guess I'm looking at Yankee killers. Yoshida. Somehow the Yankees can't get that sucker out. Goddamn. They're other than that. They got Tyler O'Neill. He didn't do much. Trevor Story is old.
He hasn't had a healthy season in Boston. So.
The young guy Duran wasn't too bad. But you're not talking about anybody who's got. They got rid of all their good players.
Yeah,
they're going to be just struggle this year. It's a Boston team that when they kind of went to a budget for some reason.
Yes,
and got rid of their good. Mookie Betts was their best player and scared the shit out of me every time we played him.
I'm gonna rip into the Boston.
And I just cannot believe that. Him and Bogarts and all you do is leave Devers.
Yeah.
It's not Boston that I used to think of. So
yeah, I'm gonna rip into the money situation so we can have that conversation in a second. Go ahead, Bryce.
This team was a good team 2 years ago. They were solid, and all of a sudden they just got rid of everybody. Bogarts and Devers were a solid duo.
Yeah.
Bogarts was the number one, had the most hits that year, I think, and Devers was.
Bogarts was a doubles machine off that monster.
And all of a sudden, they're like, he just won this award, let's get rid of him. This team, to me, they lost so much more than what I think they gained. C.J. Cron, he's had some good years. I don't think Liam Hendricks is all that great. Tyler O'Neill is just an outfielder that plays decent defense. He had a hot streak there for a while, but
he's not.
Yeah.
He's not that great of a player, really.
He did have a good year that year in St. Louis, though.
Yeah.
Crazy month. 1 month. But
yeah. So I can see this team winning 65 games, dropping from 78.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. So I think they lost so much, and they're.
I looked at them win around 70. I think they're going to take a step back, but I also don't think they're that bad. I have said that I'm going to say one nice thing about things that I hate every day. I'll give it this: Boston has a beautiful stadium. That is a beautiful stadium.
Oh no, you've been there. Haven't you?
I have not been there.
I have been there, and let me tell you, it's not what I thought it'd be. I went there to the Boston Yankees game. And didn't even get I wore Yankees head to toe. Not one person said a fucking word to me.
Oh my god!
But,
so don't. And I sat behind 50 Bowl. So
your sister loves that stadium.
It's a historic
I'm
stadium.
not a big fan of that stadium.
It's a historic stadium. It's awesome.
The bar outside of it's pretty nice. Though.
Yeah. To me, I'll start with the lineup. I actually think the lineup's better than they gave it credit for. I think that Rafi Devers is a stud. He always has been. We all agree. I think Tristan Casas, he had a great year last year as a first baseman. He's only 24. I think he can be very good. I also think Tyler O'Neill can be okay there with the Green Monster. He hits a lot of pull happy on the left. St. Louis is the bigger ballpark. I think he can be okay. Yoshida had a great first half, terrible second half. Which one is that?
The Yankees game.
True. So which side do you see of Yoshida is the question. Trevor Story hasn't been healthy his entire career in Boston. I don't know what you can expect from him, but he could also use that monster almost like Bogarts did. Pitching staff, I think it's horrible. Losing Giolito makes it awful. I mean, one of the worst pitching staffs in baseball if he is indeed out for the season. Roy hit it. Man, this team this is Boston. This is a big market team. Chicago, Boston, New York. You spend money and you win championships. And this team went into a budget after not paying one of the best players in baseball, Mookie Betts. I mean, that guy was going to be a superstar for years to come. It was obvious.
Yeah.
You trade him for Alex Verdugo and Jeter Downs. Guess what? They're both New York Yankees now. You don't keep Bogarts, who had been there his whole career. He loved it there. All you do is pay him. And you let Mookie Betts walk for nothing. You didn't get anything back for him worth of value because they're all gone.
You have plenty of money. It's not like the money's an issue.
No.
I mean, that was the thing. They had Eduardo Rodriguez, Sale. I mean, they had the pitching staff in hitting with the closer.
And they're letting them all walk.
They're all letting them go.
And they're acting like a small market team, which is crazy. I love it. I mean, I hope they don't spend a penny.
I mean, it's nice watching. I mean, when you watch those games back in the day, I mean, not anymore. When the Yankee Red Sox games, didn't matter who it was, how good the team was. It was a 4-hour game, and it was wore the shit out of you. Now they're not that way, and I'm okay with it. And the Yankees are winning more, so and I'm okay with that.
But this pitching staff needs help. I do think they are in play for Jordan Montgomery very, very strongly, which I really wouldn't like because Jordan Montgomery is a Yankee in my eyes still. Not this year, obviously, but like in eyes, I still think of him as a Yankee, so I don't want him to go to Boston. But I don't have anything else for the Red Sox. I mean, they're just acting like a small market team. They have a lot of issues. They let Mookie Betts walk. Thank God. I was tired of seeing that guy. But
I had an MLB pickle the other day, and I narrowed it down to a Boston pitcher, and I was like, I have no shot.
Yeah,
I don't know any of these guys.
It's tough now.
Yeah.
I think that's going to take us into Toronto, and I'm going to let Roy rip the Toronto Blue Jays here first.
You guys' favorite team.
I'm gonna rip everybody in this division, even my own team.
Yep, go ahead, Roy.
So what we got to talk about? The Red Sox were 89-73, lost in a wild card.
Pretty good.
They had a great year.
Yeah.
Their key losses are Matt Chapman, Jordan Hicks, and Whit Merrifield. Their key additions are Justin Turner and
I threw that on for you, Roy.
I have it on my list here. IKF, Isaiah Hinterfeld.
That was your guys' best player.
No, I know to shut the.
He had a decent year last year. It was the year
You could
before.
say that.
That guy was a beast.
He did have a decent year.
Oh, geez, what I messed up.
Oh.
So their starting lineup is going to be. I mean, they're hitting wise. I mean, Springer, Guerrero Jr., Turner, Bichette, Kiermaier, Kirk, Varsho, and then IKF and then Biggio. I mean, that lineup is not too bad. Other than, you're looking at George Springer is 34 years old. He's starting to get in there. Justin Turner's losing his thing.
He's almost 40.
He's getting there up there. But then you got some young guys, some Guerrero, and then you got a Yankee killer in Kiermaier who somehow freaking just lights up the Yankees pitching.
Springer lights the Yankees up too.
Yeah. So, but then your pitching staff, is Gosman, Barreros, Bassett. I thought Bassett's a pretty good pitcher. And then you got, was it Kikuchi?
And then they
Francis.
Don't forget, he's at
Alex Morona. But he's hurt, right? Has he been hurt for a while?
Shoulder soreness.
I thought he's going to be out and miss the first 6 months probably is what I was reading. But, I mean, their pitching staff, that's where I think is struggling this year for the Toronto. Barreros, who usually has a good ERA, but he is starting to show what a small, short pitcher can struggle. When they get older and they struggle with throwing with their throwing speed, like Tim Hudson, some of those guys, when they're just shorter than they just cannot keep their arm strength. Gosman I think he's pretty good, but Bassett's are probably their best pitcher in my opinion. This team is pretty good, other than
in my opinion, they should have went out and spent more money. Is what they. I mean, that's the you have Guerrero, Bichette, Springer, Kiermaier, and Turner out there in your lineup, especially Guerrero and Bichette, Springer. That's a tough lineup to get through for any pitcher. And you can go out and try to build around. I know they tried to get Chapman. They tried to get. I think they were on Otani.
Yeah, they
were on Otani.
they offered same contract.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're trying, but I mean, you're playing in fucking Toronto. I mean, I've been to Toronto, but never been to the stadium. But Toronto, nice town. I'm not gonna bitch about another country here again.
Okay.
But
I'll bitch.
it's not. It is not a traditional great place to be to watch baseball or watch any sports. I mean, don't want to go up there and play. It's just. I mean, you've got some young players. You want to win now because I don't think they can keep Guerrero. I don't think they can keep some of these players. I think they'll try. I just think people are going to try to outbid those guys, and their pitching staff is just weak. I think they're going to take a step back this year just because I think their pitching staff is not as good to keep up with what their hit lineup can do.
How about you, Bryce? What do you think of them?
The first thing I want to say is that I want to say it's criminal that you didn't add this one player to the key additions.
Burger.
Danny fucking Burger is on the bench, baby. And Josh is spilling beers over here.
Luckily, I didn't touch anything.
I mean, come on, Josh. We're in a studio, dude.
Yeah.
Take your shirt off and put it on there.
Not a
Why
chance.
not? It's a Yankee shirt.
Yep.
Bryce,
Bryce,
taking mine off.
it didn't touch it. It's not even running. Keep going.
So, to me, I'm not a Yankees fan like you guys are. I like this lineup, and hitting-wise, I think they do struggle in the pitching is what's going to be their biggest issue, but I think they have a really solid hitting lineup.
They strike out too much. Is their biggest thing.
Well, I mean, like you said, George Springer, Guerrero, Bichette, Turner. I mean, even down the list, Kirk, Barishow, IKF, those guys can be like solid players. They get hot in stretches. That's what you need.
Can carry a team like that.
I'm not saying he can carry a team. He can be an into the lineup hitter.
He was an in-line hitter for the Yankees, so he's not.
That was the best thing I've ever seen.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
What you just stuck in that?
We saw him hit a home run, didn't we?
I don't think so. He only hit about 4 of them.
I swear he hit one while we were there. Somebody did.
I don't know.
That
I'm
was
sure
like-
many did. It's just not him.
Well, while we were there, there was somebody wild that hit one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good lineup for the most part. I mean, Springer, he's getting older, but he's still a good hitter. Bichette and Guerrero can have good years. Guerrero had a down year last year, so you never know.
Bichette's up there with one of my favorite players that's not on the
Yeah, Kirk's a good hitting catcher. Kiermaier, I think, maybe overperformed a little bit to play.
The slowest player in the league behind
Yes.
Kiermaier is a streaky player too.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. But he doesn't strike out much. That was why he was so good at Tampa.
Having
Yeah.
Kirk and Daniel Vogelback on the same team should actually be a crime.
Yeah, that's a slow-ass
Those are the
team.
two most unathletic players in
Yeah.
the entire league.
Pitching-
baseball players aren't athletic.
Yeah. But most people know about the Blue Jays lineup. To me, it's their pitching staff, and I disagree with Roy. I think Kevin Gausman is their best pitcher. I think Kevin
I
Gausman.
like Bass.
I think Kevin Gausman is a top 10 pitcher in this league. I mean, his splitter is unhittable. Barrios is really streaky. He goes on good runs, but he also gives up a lot. Bassett is just 3.5 ERA, and that's what he gives you. That's consistency. Kikuchi had a really good year last year because he was horrible the rest of his career. And their bullpen to me, outside of their closer, Romano, Eric Swanson's a good setup. They don't have a lot outside of that. Alex Manoah, great first year.
He's good.
Disaster of a second year. I don't know what you're going to get out of him. He has shoulder soreness. Roy said he might be out for some time, so that doesn't help them.
Yeah.
This team, to me, is a middle of the pack team in this division. It's a loaded division. If they were in a different division, I think this team is multiple-time division champs.
Oh yeah, if they're in the Central Division, they win the AL Central. They are division champs at least the last 3 years.
So to me, I just don't see a lot of this team. This team did not make almost any additions outside of Justin Turner and Danny Burgers, who's going to bat 150 with 12 home runs. I don't have a lot. I don't think
He's gonna do the burger trot around.
I don't see this team being as good as most people think. So that's going to lead us on to the Rays.
One more thing I want to say is that it's absolute bullshit that you put the Yankees at the end of the division, even though they were second to last in this division.
Yes,
that's how I've been doing it.
That's why I said in the beginning this is in no particular order.
Yeah. Except everybody else but the Yankees.
The Yankees will be the longest conversation, so I saved it to the end. That's going to lead us to the Rays, and I'm going to let Bryce try to pronounce half these names because I want to see it.
Tampa Bay Rays went 99-63. Couldn't get the last one for 100. Key loss is Tyler Glass now, one of the best pitchers in the league. Manuel Margaret, Christian Bethencourt, and the key additions were Ryan.
Please say this name.
Pepiote.
Oh, he was close. Pepio.
All right.
I wouldn't have got that. I don't even.
Their projected starters are Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, Randy Arozarena, Josh Lau, Isaac Paredes, Jonathan Aranda,
Just skip.
Jose Siri, Jose Caballero, Rene Pinedo.
Yep.
Man, this is like
Yeah.
You actually did a lot better than I thought.
I knew most of these players is
Yeah.
why I could say them, but a lot of those guys at the top I play with in the show. So especially Randy Rosarena.
Show.
Good game.
You should get it.
No, I got two other things.
All right, keep it going.
With baseball, with the pitchers.
All right, pitchers. Zach
Eflin.
Aaron
Eflin.
Aaron Savale.
Savali.
Just say him, Josh. I can't say
Zach
that.
Littell, Ryan Pepio, and Taj Bradley.
They have two Pepidos.
No, it's the same guy.
He bats. He's catcher and a pitcher.
No, we're in world.
No, Pinto was
Pinto.
the catcher.
Oh, okay. My bad.
All right.
And then a bullpen of Jason Adam, Pete Fairbanks, Colin Pache, Phil Maton. And outside of that, it's kind of quieter names.
Yeah, I mean,
They one thing I included into the bottom. They have three pitchers who will not pitch this season. Better. Shane McClanahan, Drew Rasmussen, and Jeffrey Springs. Those are three really good pitchers who will all miss the season with Tommy John. So this Rays team is going to look a lot different than it had in the past. Those three pitchers, they won't have Glass now, who's now on the Dodgers. It's going to be a different look for the Rays and their pitching staff. Bryce, I'll let you go first because you probably know the least amount of the Rays of us. What do you think of the Rays roster after going 99-63 last year?
I think that lineup-wise, they're still pretty solid. They have a ton of hitters. Randy Rosarena is a really good hitter. The biggest issue is going to be those three players and Glass now all leaving. You know, it's hard. You have to have good pitching staff to win 100 games like they did. And losing 4 for the season, I mean, it's going to be a completely different team. We could see them dropping to 86, 85, maybe somewhere around that area. No way they're getting back to 100 without that pitching. So.
Yeah. I'll go next, Roy. This team won 99 games because I don't think they lost the first 30. I think they started 30-0, damn near. This team was the hottest team I've ever seen to start a season. They will not do that again this year. Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, Rosarena, very good 1, 2, 3, almost as good as it gets, for not paying people like a lot of money. It's what the Rays do. And Zach Eflin came over first year from Philly, was great. I actually like some of their young pitchers in the rotation. Eflin was really good. Ryan Pepio, who they got in the Glasnow trade, is going to be one of those pitchers that turns out good for the Rays that they always get. And Taj Bradley was a top 10 prospect in baseball before last season. Savali and Littell I don't like very much, but I still think they have a respectable 3 pitchers. Their bullpen to me, I don't know a lot of those guys, but I trust the Rays. They're going to make those guys into the best bullpen in baseball somehow. It's just what they do. They're going to take a step back because of those 3 pitchers not pitching. I mean, Shane McClanahan was a Cy Young candidate last year before he got hurt.
Yeah.
I just think that lineup is going to take a step back. That lineup was, smoking hot the first month. If you take away their first month, they're probably only 5-10 games over 500 the rest of the way. It's still a good team. I just don't think it's a 100-win team like they were. But the one person in this roster that is going to make a name for himself is going to be Ryan Pepio. They are going to make him a good pitcher. So I'll lead it over to Roy next.
No, I agree. This is Tampa lineup and pitching staff like they always have. A bunch of young guys.
To me that they're in this division.
But they're just bunch of young pitchers.
It's so weird they're in your division.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Eflin will probably be a Cy Young candidate this year just because that's just what they do.
Hope he does for my fantasy team.
I agree. I think Taj Bradley's going to have a good year, and I think Peppo will be a pretty good. Their bullpen. I mean, it's a bunch of names you don't know, but it's always guys that just come in there and pitch, and that's what the Rays do. Their lineup. I mean, it's just the same guy. I mean, it's the same lineup they throw out there almost every year. Just a bunch of guys who can hit the ball. They don't strike out a lot, and then they put the ball in play, and then every once in a while they hit a home run. I mean, that's what they're not going to get you a 40 home run guy. They're just going to score 3 or 4 runs, keep in the ball game, and that's what they're going to do. No, they're not going to win. What did you say? They won 90 games. 99. They're not going to win 99 games this year. This lineup is going to take a step back. I mean, but they're still going to be a good team. This is a team that's going to make the playoffs. That's going to win 85, 86 probably games, maybe 82, just because of how good the other 2 teams in the division we're going to talk about are. But this team is going to feast on everybody else because their pitching staff is just going to be decent and young, and they're just going to come out and win. That's what it is. I mean, it's a typical Tampa Bay Rays team.
Yeah. And they do lose a big player. I'm not even going to say his name because he's one of the worst human beings on the planet. But he is never playing baseball again. So
maybe in a foreign.
No, he is never playing in America again. Thank God. That's going to lead us to the Baltimore Orioles. 2023 record of 101-61. Probably the biggest shock of all baseball last year was the Orioles step up. They lose Kyle Gibson, who goes to St. Louis. Jack Flaherty, who they got the deadline from the Cardinals. He goes to Detroit. And they lose Aaron Hicks, the most useless baseball player in the country.
Big.
That was Josh's favorite player for 2 years.
Yeah, Jesus. I had to throw him in for that. Key additions, they do grab Craig Kimbrell on a 1-year deal, and that was because Felix Bautista will miss the whole year with Tommy John. And they make the big boy trade a few weeks ago, Corbin Burns, and they don't give a shit for him, really. Lineup consists of Cedric Mullins, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Anthony Santander, Ryan O'Hearn, Ryan Mountcastle, Austin Hayes. Projected, this is not confirmed, Jackson Holiday to make the roster, and Jordan Westberg. And then with a bench of James McCann and Jorge Mateo, rotation of Corbin Burns, Grayson Rodriguez, Dean Kramer, Austin Wells, and Cole Irving. Bullpen of Yenier Cano, Craig Kimbrell, and then the rest are a little bit lesser known. And like I said, Kyle Bradish and John Means will start the year on the IL, and Felix Bautista will miss the whole season with Tommy John. Bryce, I'm going to lead off with you because, again, you know the least of this team compared to us.
Baltimore Orioles were probably like the biggest surprise in baseball this year. I mean, maybe the Diamondbacks you could say, but they won over 100 games with just a ton of young players who all played amazing. I mean, Adley Rutschman leading the team, really, in my opinion. That guy's unbelievable. Switch hitter. He's just a great hitter. And they have so many kids on their team. I say kids. They're all older than me. Cedric Mullins, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar Henderson, Santander, all those guys, Mountcastle, they're all great players that, they just hit so well on all their prospects. Pitching-wise, bringing in Corbin Burns, I think that's going to help a ton. I mean, that guy's an animal. Losing Batista, I think it could hurt them, but Craig Kimbrell's just as good, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. He's a solid player. They're both interchangeable. I don't see them winning as many as they did last year. I think this team's going to be just as good, but I think that they were so hot last year for so long. I don't think that they can withstand that amount of 100 wins. I think it could still be high 90s, but I just don't see them going over 100 again this year.
Roy, I'll let you go next. What do you think of Baltimore?
All right, so Baltimore, it's about time that Baltimore. This team has drafted high for so many years.
Yeah. And
they finally hit some players. That's what they've been doing. They drafted well. This team, adding Burns, is made that team better and pitching staff wise. Bradish is good. I actually like Rodriguez. Their bullpen actually I think is pretty good. Cano I thought was really well last year, and then Dylan Tate, he was a Yankee at one point, and I think he's good. I think even when I thought it was going to be a starter, getting Craig Kimbrell helped that back in. If they wouldn't have got him, they would have struggled, in my opinion, because Bautista was good.
Yeah. But
this offense, yes, I think this team is very good. I think this team is Jackson Holiday, get him up there early. That might just help because he's surrounded by still young kids that could help him grow. Like you said, Henderson, Santander, and Mullins has been there for 10 years, it seems like.
Like 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's been freaking
four.
It feels like he's been in forever.
He's been in Baltimore longer.
He's been in Baltimore. He is the perfect leadoff guy for that offense.
Yep.
And
good center fielder.
Good center fielder, plays defense. This team is a mixture of good defense, good pitching, and hitting home runs. They do a really good job. And what they also did was change that ballpark so the Yankees couldn't go in there and beat them 22 times in a year because they couldn't hit 500 home runs against them.
Yeah.
They did things right the way they needed to do to win. And this team, I disagree. I think they'll win over 100 games. I think they're going to tear this team and the team we're going to talk about. I think is going to tear up the whole freaking season, tear up everybody they're playing. You're going to play. You play the AL Central, who's absolutely shit. The NL Central, who's absolutely shit. The AL East, who's absolutely shit. I'm talking. You're playing.
I just want to point
You're
out
going to play every one of these teams now.
Let me
You're going
point
to
out
be
that
shit.
Roy bet last year that the Yankees would have 40 more wins than the Cubs, and the Cubs had more wins last year.
It doesn't matter.
Fuck off.
This year is a different year, and it's going to be. I mean, this Baltimore team is going to win probably what they won this year, 101. They're going to win the exact same amount of games, and the division. It's going to be a race between them and the Yankees.
Yep, I agree with you, Roy. I have them right around the same, 101. I don't think they're going to get a whole lot better, but I also don't think they're going to get a whole lot worse. The lineup, do all their young players take that next step? I don't know. Gunnar Henderson had a damn near as good of a rookie year as you're going to get. He was the number one prospect in baseball a few years ago, so he could. They have so many young guys that I did not name because they don't have a spot, that I believe they will be moving at a deadline after they have a good half season for another big pitcher. Corbin Burns is as good as it gets as a one in this league. I think Grayson Rodriguez is going to be just as good as Corbin Burns this season. I think he's going to be a superstar. I'm not even going to talk about Jackson Holliday yet. I'm going to save him for last. But they have so many young guys. But, the people like Santander, who almost led the league in doubles. I don't know if he does that again. Some of those players.
He'll still be pretty good. I mean, he'll do well.
I'm a little bit different of an idea of Roy. I actually think their bullpen isn't very good. I think Craig Kimbrell, he's okay. And
I think he's good.
But he's going to blow some saves there. Batista's a damn near unhittable freak. And they're not having him all year, thank God. Canoa's no name, had a crazy good year. I'm sure he'll be pretty decent. I think they found something. They lose Kyle Bradish a couple weeks ago. He's going to be out for a little bit. I think it's a big loss. This is a team to me that could be in play for Blake Snell for a one-year deal. Not saying they will, but they have so many rookies coming up. They just don't have spots for him, but I think they're going to find spots for him. I'm going to talk about Jackson Holliday. I think this is a superstar generational player. I mean, this kid is 19, 20 years old, tearing up AA, single A. I mean, this guy was a number one pick in 2022. I mean, he's knocking on the door of major leagues already. I mean, that's unheard of. And he's a small guy. I mean, he's not like, a 6'6" guy who can crush home runs. I mean, he's a doubles machine. This is just like all the Orioles. They're double machines, home run machines. I mean, this is a good team.
Can't hit home runs that far. That's the thing.
Yeah, but he's a lefty, and that's what they're doing. All their young players seem to be left-handed.
Well, we go to Yankee Stadium and the short board.
Yeah, so I'm very high on the Orioles. I wasn't high on them last year, but man, some of those young players took bigger steps than I thought, and they have more reinforcements on the way, and I don't think they have room for all the players that they have, and I think they're going to move them at the deadline for pitching. So I'm really high on the Orioles. I think they're set up for damn near the next 10 years to be a gauntlet. That's going to lead us to me and Roy's favorite team and the best team in baseball, the New York Yankees, who go 82 and 80 last year. They missed the playoffs.
82 and missed playoffs. Best team in baseball.
Yeah, they missed the playoffs.
500, above 500.
Compared to all the teams that we've talked about, losses and additions, outside the Dodgers maybe, this team made the most moves in the offseason. Key losses. What on earth is that? Key losses. Frankie Montes goes to Cincinnati. Wandy Peralta goes to San Diego. Severino goes to the Mets.
That's not a loss at all.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa goes to Toronto. Michael King, Johnny Brito, and Drew Thorpe all traded to San Diego. But their key additions, Marcus Stroman signed from the Cubs. Caleb Ferguson and Victor Gonzalez, two lefty relievers, both traded from the Dodgers. Jorbit Vivas traded from the Dodgers as well. And then Verdugo traded from Boston. A lot of trades this offseason. And then the big one, Trent Grisham and Juan Soto traded from the Padres. They have an opening day lineup of DJ LeMahieu, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, Alex Verdugo, Giancarlo Stanton, Anthony Volpe, and Austin Wells / Jose Trevino, with a bench of the other one who I just named, Oswald Peraza, Oswaldo Cabrera, and Trent Grisham. Rotation of Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Marcus Stroman, Clark Schmidt, and Nestor Cortez, with a bullpen of Clay Holmes, Jonathan Weizica, and then the two relievers, and then a bunch of no-names, with Jason Dominguez missing half of the season. Bryce, I'll let it rip. What do you think of the Yankees this year?
Let me
I can't
What do
wait.
you have to say about
We're excited to hear this.
I mean, I can't believe they let IKF go. It blows my
Why
mind.
the fuck would you play him?
IKF is worse than Michael Fulmer, who's not even a Cub. That's how bad he is.
So obviously, you guys added a shit ton of firepower. I mean, Juan Soto, Alex Verdun, and Trent Grisham. Those guys are fucking solid players. Juan Soto being probably the best player in baseball right now.
Damn near. I mean,
If you guys don't re-sign him, that's going to be bad. But I don't see a big market team like New York having any issue with that. Marcus Stroman, I think, was a huge pickup for you guys. You guys might not like him as much as me because he was a Cub, but he was an ace for us. I don't think he should be an ace because he doesn't have the mental clarity or the injury proneness to be an ace, in my opinion. He is a perfect 2 or 3, and he is going to be so detrimental to your guys' success, in my opinion, down the stretch or in the playoffs. Your lineup is unbelievable. I mean, Anthony Rizzo doesn't have a concussion this year. DJ LeMahieu, decent player. Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, those are probably the best 1-2 punch in the entire league. Stanton could play good. I mean, he's been a home run hitter in the past. Me and Josh saw him hit a 450 home run in Kansas City.
and in New York.
And in New York. Yeah, we've seen him crush 2. One was against.
Man, we need to start going to more Yankee games.
Yeah, if he's going to hit home run,
Damn, that's all he does.
almost help he pay for good.
Every Yankee game I've been at, I mean, they just blasted him out of the park. Besides the first time the Cubs ever won in the Yankee Stadium.
That's
I was
true.
there.
Didn't get we got 2 hits.
Yeah, that was awesome.
2023 Yankees.
Your guys' pitching is unbelievable as well. Which one? Who's your closer? Is it
Holmes?
Holmes is
Top.
what they're saying right now.
He is the closer.
You think it's going to be him?
Yeah,
100%.
for start of season.
They'll use him.
All right. I think that's going to be your biggest issue is your closer. I think that you guys have great bullpen relief with Loizica. He's really good.
If he's healthy.
Yeah. So I think you guys will get perfect through 6 innings. You guys could be up 10 runs to nothing. You guys got to have the closers that are going to win the games. So it's going to come down to that. I could see this team easily winning 100 games this year. Obviously, they had down battings. Aaron Judge was out for a little bit. Anthony Rizzo had a concussion for 4 months.
Yeah.
So
Before he was diagnosed.
yeah, Stanton was
That's fireable. I don't know.
Stanton was retired half the year or something. So I mean, he didn't.
Roy, go ahead and rip.
One more thing, I want to say. Also, another issue is going to be the positions. You guys have so many players that play in the same positions. You're going to have a lot of people resting and stuff. I think that's going to be an issue for the manager throughout the year.
Yeah, people love to rip Aaron Boone.
Yeah, I love Aaron Boone.
Every
Every time he throws his gum, I get
love
hyped
him?
up.
I think he's good for this
God.
team.
No, I disagree.
When he pulls that gum out and throws it, I get hyped.
Hey, I love when Aaron Boone gets fired up, and he gets fired up a lot.
Let's get this good old boy going.
All right,
Fucking idiot.
go ahead, Roy. Start ripping. Go ahead.
Ripping on the Yankees. All right.
Say what you want.
All right, this lineup, is sick. Honestly, it is really sick. I'll get the line. This lineup is going to be hard for anybody to strike out or get him out. I mean, this is the first 3 batters is perfect. Is what the old Yankee teams when they won in the late '90s and early 2000s. You had a leadoff hitter who got on base. You had a second hitter who could hit home runs and get on base, and then you had that third guy who could just drill the ball. DJ LeMahieu is a guy that gets on base, just hits singles, gets on base, just like the old Derek Jeter used to do. That's what they used to do. Your second hitter is Juan Soto, who gets on base and can still hit home runs. And then you can clean it up by having Aaron Judge do it. I mean, that is what when the Yankees were really good in the 90s and early 2000s, that's when they were good, is by doing those 3. And they finally have hit it. Now, Rizzo, I hope he comes back and has a good year. I mean, last year, first month, awesome. And then they say concussion or whatever. I just think this will probably be his last year as a Yankee, and I hope he ends up just tearing it up for him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a good leader. Oh no, that's fine. He's been a great leader in our clubhouse, and I hope he does what he needs to. The ones after that's what worries me is for the Yankees. I mean, as much as I love this team,
I mean, Torres could step up.
Torres was our best hitter last year.
Yeah.
Torres, and he's not a free agent this year. I've never questioned his hitting. His hitting has never been questioned. It's his effort when he runs the bases, his intellectual when he runs the bases, and then his defense has been absolutely shit, which pisses me off.
Much better at second than short.
Yeah, no, second he's been better, but he still gets lazy with throws, and
Yeah.
it just drives me nuts. He's too talented to be as lazy as he is, and he's always been that flux. We're going to trade him or not. I just think.
All right, you were talking about Gleyber Torres.
Back to me.
I'm going to say. All right, we had a small intermission with some technical difficulties, but we're back, and Roy was ripping about the Yankees. He was on a Gleyber Torres rant.
Josh, you need a beer?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, so we're back to me with Gleyber Torres. I talked about how lazy he was, and it just drives me nuts. But what gets me about Gleyber is his bat is good, and he can make this team. He for a second baseman, he's one of the better second basemen hitting second basemen in the league.
Nico Horner is the best, though.
No, not even close.
Maybe overall, but not hitting, not a chance.
But then I think this is the year where Volpe makes a step. I think he's going to make it. There's no pressure on him. He makes good. I think he's going to be an improved defender, but he's gotten bigger. I mean, he put on some muscle this year, and I think with him at the back of the lineup is going to be. He's our future number one, in my opinion. Yeah. But right now, being the back, there's no pressure. He'll hit the ball. I think he's going to hit more home runs. Now you get to Stanton, which obviously I am not a Stanton fan. Have not been. I didn't want to trade him for him. I just knew he was going to be a block in the lineup. I think this year he'll be with the Yankees this year, and I think he'll be with the Yankees next year. Only because when I looked it up, he is owed. Look at here. He is owed $32 million this year, $32 million next year. Then it drops to 19 and 15 for the next 2 years after that. I think I could see him after this year saying, you know what, we'll just eat the rest of the contract and eat that $32 million next year, and then a 15 and a 19 and 15. But I could also see him staying one more year, saying, depending on what kind of year he has. But I don't see him finish the last 2 years as a Yankee. Those are cheap. That's cheap numbers for Yankees for a Yankee player.
Yeah.
So I can see him going. But their key will be this year will be the top as usual. The Garrett Cole being the ace that he is. I think after all the crap that he's had to go through, I think last year showed he can. I mean, he's a hell of a pitcher. I mean, he is just a stud, and he's matured. I agree. I think Stroman will be a decent pitcher for the Yankees. I don't like the dude personally.
Yeah, Roy was not happy with the signing.
I'm not happy with it just because I don't like the dude.
I think him and Soto on the same team is hilarious after the beef that they've had in the past. That's awesome. Stroman doing the Soto shuffle after striking him out.
Winning does all kinds of stuff. Carlos Rodon is the one I haven't trusted. I didn't trust him last year when we signed him. I don't trust him this year. And I'm not a Nestor Cortez fan. I know you are, but I am not. I'm not in that. I mean, I saw the dude play poker. He's not a very good poker player and not a good craps player. He's just terrible.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's that good of a pitcher. I think he's a bullpen guy. And I will adamant say he's a bullpen guy.
Let me just slip in that Roy played poker with everybody on the Yankees but Judge.
Well, yeah, he didn't show up. I don't know. Hey, I'll play with him.
He's a cat. He's got other stuff to do.
Hey, I just sat there and watched. I just threw my minimum on there. I actually think Clark Schmidt will have a huge year this year. That guy.
When you say huge, what do you mean by huge?
I'm talking 12 to 15 wins this year. I think he's our fifth starter. ERA probably high threes, middle to high threes. I think this is his year. He was awesome in college at South Carolina, and I think he needs that year. And I think I think this is the year. He's a fifth starter. I've always liked Clark Schmidt. I know people didn't like him. I know Yankee fans didn't like him. I've liked him. I like his stuff. I just think it hasn't been smart. It hasn't been that sharp. I think he's coming after Tommy John surgery after 2 years now. I think he's good. I think he's going to be the man. Now, the problem I don't like is our bullpen. I have not been a bullpen man for this team. I like Ian Hamilton. I love Loaiziga. He got hurt last year, but I love Loaiziga. I think he's our future closer. I love that guy. I am not a Clay Holmes fan. My problem with him is when he's on, he is unhittable. But when he cannot hit, when that sinker cannot hit for strikes, he sucks. I mean, and he gives up home runs, hangs it. Caleb Ferguson, Victor Gonzalez, I haven't seen much. I don't know. Nick Ramirez, I'm not really. Canley, whatever his name.
Lord.
Roy doesn't even know his own team.
I just messed it up.
I know more.
2 years ago he was good. Last year hurt,
He is starting the season on the IL from sounds.
but it sounds like he's going to be up there. So, but I miss Michael King. I loved Michael King. I wish he would have stayed. But
Probably miss Aaron Hicks as well.
fuck Aaron Hicks. No, I do. When they signed him to that $10 million a year or whatever it was, I was so pissed. But this Yankee, I love that they're bringing Austin Wells up. Middle of the season, we're going to get Dominguez back.
Yeah.
The future is bright for the Yankees. Finally,
yeah,
they have decided and said, you know what? We got Judge, we got Cole. We're going to go out and win. We're going to get the players to win. We're going to win.
It's about time.
And
they're a big market.
I am not a Cashman fan. I have never been a Cashman fan. Even back, because the early 90s, I've been a Yankee fan for a long time. And when it was 90s and early 2000s, that wasn't his guys. That was the guy before him. And then he started bringing in A-Rod, Jeremy Giambi, and all these assholes that just were past their prime that I couldn't stand. I like this team. I like most of them. Verdugo. I sat in right field.
You
and
hate that guy.
I sat in right field and cussed him out in Boston or New York last summer. So it's hard for me to go to the guy and say, "Hey, you're a son of a bitch," but then root for him. That's just hard for me. I yelled at him plenty in that game when I saw him. But hey, this team, Yankees are going to win 105 games this year. Count it right now. Just close it. Right now, 105.
I can agree with
I said, 25 games between the Cubs and the Yankees? What I said, right? 25?
25. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was our
So there we go.
It's in our messages. It's somewhere around 25.
All right, Roy had his spiel. Now I'm going to do mine. Mine's going to look a little different because me and Roy have agreed that we disagree on some things. I'll start with the lineup. Ever since his first 2 years, I have not been a fan of DJ LeMahieu. Plays a good defense. Guy he doesn't have the hit tool that he had.
I can agree with that.
To me, he's slow. He's just not. He walks a decent amount. I'm ready for Volpe to take the one spot. I don't think he's ready yet. I'm ready. I agree that DJ is our leadoff hitter. I think DJ is just getting old. He's what? 35.
Yeah.
He is just not the player he once was, and it's just what it is. I'm ready for him to get off the books.
He's been hurt the last 2 years.
I know, but that has to do with his age, in my opinion. He is just not the same player he was. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge is the greatest 1-2 punch in baseball right now. I don't care. They've got the Dodgers beat. Dodgers have a better 1-2-3, but Soto and Judge are the best 1-2 punch in baseball. Rizzo, first month of the season was good. Concussion for 4 months. How you don't know someone has a concussion for 4 months is fireable, in my opinion. That's crazy. Gleyber Torres is – me and Roy have talked lengths about Gleyber Torres. What do you do with Gleyber Torres?
Let him go.
He's on a 1-year deal.
Let him play this year and let him go.
Gleyber Torres is a real good marketing major because all he does is hang out with Juan Soto, and he's trying to oh, my God, please bring me back. Talks about how he wants to be a Yankee for life. Roy is not a fan of Alex Verdugo. I personally am. I liked Alex Verdugo on the Dodgers before he was even a Red Sox. I thought the deal for Mookie Betts was terrible, but I thought Verdugo was a good piece. He's definitely not the player I thought he was, but I like Verdugo. Especially, I like good defensive outfielder, and he's a lefty. And he's not a strikeout guy. He's going to put the ball in play. I can respect that. Giancarlo Stanton, I can't fucking stand. Can't do it. I want him gone right now. I don't even want him. He's batting 100 on spring training. I know that doesn't mean anything. I think
it's been 2 years. 4 years. He's been 220 and lower.
He is going to get hurt this year again. It just is what it is. He is just not a player that he once was. Anthony Volpe, I am super high on. Bryce knows how high I was on Volpe last year.
Jersey on right now.
I do have the Volpe jersey on right now. He's leveled his swing more. Last year he was uppercutting, trying to hit home runs, which I never understood.
He obviously needs to be your one.
Yeah,
he stepped up.
When he gets more experience,
and he is a outstanding base stealer. He has that running leap that he does. He is just outstanding. He is going to be the future shortstop for a long time. The bench, to me, is the problem for the Yankees offensively. I think their bench sucks.
I agree.
I don't think Oswaldo Cabrera will make the Major League roster. I don't think Oswald Peraza will make the Major League roster. I think they will sign some no-name guys, or maybe they're not going to bring up one of those prospects to sit the bench. I think it's going to be someone out there in free agency that will just make it as a bench player. Rotation-wise, Garrett Cole's him, just is. All I pray for is health, and he's done an outstanding job his whole career of it. Stroman, health to me is the issue. If he stays healthy, he could be a kind of how you said a Clark, high threes ERA. I'll take that all day. Schmidt, I agree with you, Roy. I think he can have an outstanding season. Cortez, I mean, he's listed as a 5. I mean, you as a 5, all I need for you is to pitch innings and keep us in the ball game. I don't care how you do it. And I think Nestor can do that. I don't think he's going to go out
How
there.
many innings? I mean, he only goes about 4 or 5 to 6.
He's a good 4.
If he gives,
Yeah.
if Nestor Cortez gives me 5 innings and gives me 2 to 3 runs, I'll take that every day. Because as a 5, you're not expecting him to do anything more.
I know, but I 4 innings about what he gives you.
I mean, shoot, I'd be happy if we could just sign Blake Snell and move him to the bullpen. I agree with you, Roy.
Yeah,
But,
he'd be a perfect fit for
I
you guys'
No,
bullpen.
but to me,
I don't think he's a bullpen guy, but
to me,
they wouldn't move him. They'd move Clark Schmidt.
I don't know.
That's bogus.
I don't know. I don't know if they would. I think they do a 6-man rotation. I really do, especially the first half of the season. To me, the biggest question mark on the Yankees, the whole roster, is Carlos Rodon. If Carlos Rodon is the pitcher that you saw in Chicago and San Francisco, this team is winning 110 games. If he's the player we saw last year, this team is not winning 100 games, in my opinion. I think Carlos Rodon is the biggest question mark. And, you know, you look at his first spring training game, and I know spring training doesn't mean anything, goes 4 innings, punches out like 8 guys. Then in the next time that he pitches in batting practice against the Yankees team, gives up 4 home runs and about 12 pitches. So we'll see what that does. The bullpen, I trust the bullpen. That's the one thing the Yankees have developed. And even if there are no names, they have pitched well. You did nail it. Clay Holmes is unhittable or can't throw a strike. Loizaga can't stay healthy. I don't trust Loizaga. When he's on, he's on. He's never healthy. He misses. He's like Stanton in the bullpen to me. He misses half the season every year. I'm not a big Loizaga fan because of that. He never stays healthy. The 2 guys we got from the Dodgers, I like it because it's lefties. We didn't have any lefties in this bullpen last year.
Peralta.
Well, yeah, but he's gone. I mean, like coming back. So Ferguson and Victor Gonzalez, I'm just glad we got some lefties for an option. And this might come as a shock. I think we've talked about this. I don't think Jason Dominguez sees much MLB time this year. I think when they bring him up, they're going to send him down to AAA for the season. I think Verdugo, unless there's an injury, that's totally different. I think it's going to be Verdugo, Judge, Stanton, who did I miss? Grisham. In the outfield, I don't think you're going to see Dominguez at the bench. And
I think because he's out till what, May, June?
I heard after All-Star break, so July.
And then, yeah, but I think they'll call him up in September.
They could,
but I just think because he's gonna need time to develop.
Yeah,
or to get back into healthy. This might be the wash season for him.
Yeah,
but,
I agree.
But I think you'll see him towards the end of the season. I mean, he still hit that damn out. That guy can hit.
To me, the Yankees are a starting pitcher away from really cementing an all-in season. I mean, you can't say you're in an all-in season and then Blake Snell, a former Cy Young winner, be on the market and you don't want to pay him for a 1-year deal. I mean, I don't know the contract details. I'm all in on getting Blake Snell.
I think they're trying to trade because the 40-man roster's full, and you got all these young guys. I agree. Oswaldo Cabrera, Peraza, Pereira. I mean, there's just guys that you got to figure something to do with them.
Yeah,
and I think that's another reason why they don't want to sell Snell because you're gonna have to do something with them. So you got. I think they tried to trade for a pitcher and it just hasn't worked.
Yeah, I truly do believe that if the Yankees stay healthy, they will be one of the best teams in baseball. To me, this whole team comes down to health. I mean, Anthony Rizzo hurt last year. Stanton, injury concerns his whole career. Judge, even though a lot of his injuries have not been his fault, a fluke injury in Dodger Stadium last year, just health to me. Juan Soto played 162 games last year. He's definitely not doing that. I hope he stays healthy. DJ LeMahieu, same thing, injuries. Rodon injuries, Stroman injuries. I just see him as a lot of injury history, and I'm just afraid of the injuries hitting him somewhere.
My biggest thing is Austin Wells. I think that's a great addition. Jose Trevino, I actually like the dude. I think the problem with him was he couldn't hit in certain spots and throughout the year. Austin Wells can hit, and I love his bat. Especially Jose Trevino, though, he could make the big hit if we needed him. That's what pissed me off. That's why I'm not a big Aaron Boone fan, because he will not. He goes strictly with the with analytics.
Yep.
And one prime example, I was freaking in St. Louis watching the Yankees-Cardinals game. You have Jose Trevino, who at that point, he was only batting 200, I think, at that point, 225. You're down 2 runs. You got runners on second and third, 1 out. And you have Jose Trevino coming up. And the guy up to that point had made big hit after big hit for several months. and you pitch hit for him for Matt Carpenter, who hadn't hit or anything for several months at that point, because that's when he got hurt. Is that Matt Carpenter? Yeah, Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, that was the series he got hurt.
Yeah, that series got hurt, and he struck out. And then we got the next batter who got struck out. You got it. I mean, that's what pissed Aaron Boone just goes strictly analytics on pitching, on hitting, on who to play, and that just drives me. Got to get some gut feeling. That's why I'm not an Aaron Boone fan.
Well, Judge came out in the offseason and said that he didn't like some of the analytical decisions the team was making, and they have announced that they have made some changes. They haven't said what, but
they always complain out there the smallest analytical team.
Yeah.
Shut up. We don't want to hear that.
All right. I don't think we have anything more. I mean, we could talk about the Yankees for 2 hours if we really wanted to. I know
We're not John Boy.
Yeah. I love John Boy Media. Shout out to the boys.
We saw them at
we saw BBD, Big Baby David, at the Yankee game. That was crazy.
on his birthday.
Yeah, it was his birthday. That was crazy. Sitting right next to us. That's going to take us into our AL East standing projections. I'm going to let Bryce go first. Bryce, what do you have the order of the AL East this coming year?
Well, I have the Red Sox last again.
Okay.
And then, hang on, this beer's getting cold.
He's got to get my beer. Go.
Here we go. All right, now I can look at it. I think that I see the Yankees jumping a lot. They're not going to be second to last again. So Boston last, Blue Jays third, or
You mean fourth?
yeah, sorry. I think the Rays, with the amount of pitching that they lost, I feel like it could flip between them or the Blue Jays for that fourth spot. So them third or fourth, Baltimore second, and I see Yankees winning this division this year. They just added so many pieces that they're just a step below the Dodgers and just about how much they did them this offseason. So I see them coming out 105 wins-ish.
How about you, Roy? What do you got the standings?
Well, mine's easy. Boston sucks, 68 wins. I have Toronto with 75. But most of their wins will come against other teams. It won't be in division. I think they'll struggle against divisional teams. Tampa, I have them in the playoffs at 85 or 86 wins. I think they're around right there. But their wins are going to be against other teams, not in the division. I think they'll have losing the record in the division. This is going to come down to the Orioles and the Yankees. I think it's straight up. It's going to be a battle between those two. The days of when the Yankees beat them 22 to 25 times a year, or straight or whatever it was, is over. I have the Orioles with 101 wins, but I have the Yankees 105. So I have the Yankees winning it. I go Yankees, Orioles, Rays, Blue Jays, Boston.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement with the bottom tier. I do have the Red Sox finishing fifth in mine as well. This one's hard because the Rays to me are a worse team on paper than the Blue Jays, but they just seem to get it done even when you least expect it. And they still have all the coaching staff, the GMs there. So I am going to roll with Toronto there at 4. But Toronto and Tampa Bay, if you flip those, I would not disagree either. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I am going to have Toronto at 4. I am going to have Tampa at 3. And I agree, it's a 1-2 race with New York and Baltimore. This might come as a shock. I am going to go with the Yankees at second. I just think they have the injury-prone people that they're not going to play a full season.
You got the Yankees fan.
Now you're a Yankee fan.
And I will have Baltimore win the division. This also is going to come down to me. I believe that Baltimore will make a deal with some of those young players for a top-tier pitcher. I don't know who that's going to be. Deadlines change. Teams, have bad years.
I actually think the Yankees will finally do something with the
They might.
Haven't done anything the last few years. I think this will be the year.
Yeah.
Get rid of LeMahieu.
No.
They won't get rid of him. But I think Baltimore is in line to make that big move for someone like Dylan Cease. I'll use that as an example at the deadline from Chicago, who's going to be just absolutely abysmal. We haven't talked about them yet, but we will. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope Baltimore loses 105 games, but they won't. But
They won't.
I hope the Yankees win 162, but that's just what I think, because to me, Baltimore, they were the quietest 100-something win team last year. Like, I thought the Rays won the division easily, and then all of a sudden at the end of the year, they snuck past them with 100-something wins. But with that being said, I also think Baltimore could easily take a step back. All those young players had fantastic seasons. If someone has, that sophomore slump that most people have, wouldn't surprise me either. So I hope I'm wrong. Go Yankees, but I do just think that Baltimore has the ammo to go get someone. They're so young, the injury bug doesn't bite them as much as the Yankees would. So that's why I'm going to go with Baltimore. Before we move on to the miscellaneous, Bryce is going to talk about a little news that dropped today about the Oakland,
The Las Vegas A's.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
whenever they moved there, the stadium finally got
yeah.
No, it's
Well-
it's official. They're moving.
Yeah.
Yes, that was approved unanimously.
Obviously, I wish they
I
went
thought
to
that was,
Nashville.
I thought that was
but-
done by the city and everything, but that and I think it's officially done.
No, so the move is official. It's just when and all that stuff. Like the stadiums haven't even been created,
yeah.
but it's official. They are moving to Vegas.
Yeah. I wish they were going to Nashville because that would have been awesome. The stadium itself, it's going to be unbelievable. The coolest thing, in my opinion, is the scoreboard. If you look at it, the scoreboard, the entire roof is a screen.
Yeah.
So they can make the scoreboard as large as they want, do cool, like, introductions and stuff. I think we're going to see a lot of cool shit coming out of Vegas Stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, they just added the Sphere. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like the coolest concert stadium ever. Vegas is stepping up with, like, screens and stadiums and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that's going to be really cool. And the other thing is the outside of it. If you know what Sydney, Australia looks like, that iconic
Opera
museum
House.
yeah, it looks just like that on
Yeah.
the outside. So that's going to be a sick stadium.
Fun fact about the renderings of the stadium. I'll post a picture of the renderings on the screen here. Brent Rooker, who had a really good first half for the A's this year and was their lone all-star. If you look in the renderings, it has him batting like a 303 average. I guess the comment section of these renderings just was blasting Brent Rooker going, yeah, this guy's never batting 300 again. And he posted like just a normal Tuesday afternoon getting blasted for hitting 303 in a fantasy screen. It was really funny, but saw that on my way here, so I wanted to point that out.
Yeah,
But
that stadium is going to be sweet. So that's something to look forward to in
To
the
me-
coming years.
to me, the coolest feature of the stadium, like Bryce said, the screen. I think the backdrop being all glass, showing the strip, that's going to be so
Yeah.
beautiful. You know, they'll have it to where the batters can't see it, but just watching home runs from behind the plate and seeing the strip, that'll be sweet.
It's Las Vegas. They go big and beyond. Who gives a shit?
All right, I think that's going to take us
It's
to
not
our.
really known for sports town, really.
I mean,
They're-
getting that way.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be a major city. That's going to take us to our locks of the week. And I'll be honest, I'm done with the NBA. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
I need
money up your ass.
I need baseball to start. That's what I need. Because I can tell you matchups better than anybody. But I'm going to the college basketball world, and March Madness is getting closer and closer. So be ready for some March Madness.
Michigan.
Huh?
That's a guarantee. You can go get some Michigan.
Oh, that's just free money at that point.
That'd be easy money.
Where in the world? There it is. I'm going to the college basketball world for tomorrow. We got 3 top 10 matchups, and I'm going to be parlaying 2 of them. I just got to get ahead to tomorrow. Here we are. The first one, I will be taking Tennessee to beat 17-ranked Carolina. They're minus 5.5. I am going to take their
Yes,
spread.
sir. Go Vols.
And the other one I got to find it, is, I hope I didn't pass it. I did not. UConn at Marquette, number 2 versus number 8. Big matchup. I am going to take UConn minus 5 as well on the road. Both on the road matchups. But that's going to be my lock of the day.
All right, that goes to my game of the week. And I can't stump these guys. Baseball knowledge. I've got another one. I don't think that they're going to miss one. All right, so they get 1 strike today.
One.
Like we get one or we don't get any.
You get 1.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you
I thought you
miss
were
one,
going to get any.
you can't miss another after that.
Okay.
And I think that it's fair that if you guys end up missing, if you don't get it with the 1 strike, you do a freedom funnel since we have it here.
Roy can.
Shit, I'd say Josh can. All right, what is this one?
Well,
What
rock,
is the
paper,
game?
scissors for.
You want to hear what it is first?
Let's hear the game first.
Yeah,
The
maybe.
game is the top 5 teams with the most World Series wins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think you guys can do it pretty easy.
I can rip 2
Well,
off.
most World Series titles in their
Yes.
franchise. Well, obviously the first 2 are easy.
Okay.
Yankees and Cardinals.
Correct.
Yep, that is the first 2.
Then after that,
It's tough. Roy, I'm going to need your help on this because
I'm going through my.
So it is a deal that you guys will do a freedom funnel if you lose this.
one of us will.
Okay. For the freedom funnel is this eagle.
We'll do
that's
a
a
rock,
beer
paper-
bong. It's,
We'll do a rock, paper, scissors.
I'll leave it right here.
Okay, let's see.
Man, that's tough.
Shit.
Who won?
I thought you guys would
Okay,
nail this right
these are
away.
not guesses. The Giants have to be up there. I mean, they won 3 in 10, 12, 14.
You're thinking
all time.
baseball of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And-
Dodgers. Oh, the Dodgers have to be up
The
there.
Dodgers would have to be up there.
All right. I think we shoot the Dodgers. That's the good one.
Okay, go Dodgers.
Dodgers.
And that is number 6. You cannot miss another.
I think we're gonna be doing this.
I think we're gonna be playing rock paper
I
scissors.
thought this was going to be a really easy one when I picked it.
No,
I'm so glad I got one that's tough for you guys.
I can't believe the Dodgers aren't on
They're
there.
number 6.
I mean, they're not on there though. That's what I'm
Yep.
the
saying.
top 5, right? So
Yep.
we have the top 2, and now we need 3 more.
I even wrote them down just because I knew you guys would guess Dodgers.
That's crazy.
No, the fucking A's won a shit ton back in the day.
I mean, there's
You know what? The Giants won quite a few in the back with Willie Mays.
Well, let's think of all the teams. Did the Cubs win a lot because they
Cubs
went
have
on.
won.
I would say they went on a 100-year
You
drought.
can knock off Cubs, White Sox. I mean, half the division. I mean, like even like Tampa, the Rangers.
What about the Astros? Did they win? Oh, they're a newer.
They're a newer.
Okay,
franchise,
I
so you
agree.
can't get
Yeah.
them. The Red Sox didn't win anything for
Somebody in the game that I found did guess the Astros. That was one of their guesses.
Really?
And the comments flamed him for it.
Okay, AL West: Rangers,
No.
Astros,
A's
Angels,
Angels, no.
Athletics.
Athletics won a ton.
Okay, Athletics will hold.
Well, hold.
To write that down. Athletics, and then what's the last team in the division? AL West.
Seattle. No.
Seattle. Yeah, no.
So then you got
AL Central. Royals.
no.
White Sox.
No. They didn't win.
Twins.
Twins only won a few in the fucking 80s.
Who else is in the Central?
Detroit, no.
Detroit.
And Indians, no. Indians
Yeah.
haven't won since what, 1960
Yeah.
something? So
Okay, AL East. Yankees, Red Sox, Orioles.
no, Orioles shit.
Rays are too new.
And
Toronto.
Toronto won in the 90s, 2 in the 90s.
Okay.
That's it.
So let's go National League. Dodgers. We already
You
said. Giants. So
Yeah,
write the Giants,
Giants is another one.
down. Who's in the West? Diamondbacks.
No, because they haven't been in since what, 2000?
West.
They've only won one.
Yeah.
They ain't-
Colorado.
Colorado, they haven't won any, have they? They
I don't
haven't won any of the World
know. In all West.
Series. And then
Who am I forgetting?
Padres.
Padres,
They
okay.
won.
NL Central. Cardinals, we already said.
Whoever said-
Cubs, no. Brewers.
No.
Reds. No, they have the Reds won.
Reds won a few back in the 70s with Johnny Bench and them.
Yeah.
And then
And the other team is Pittsburgh.
and the Pirates weren't bad back in the
All
day.
right. Okay, then. And I agree.
But I don't. But that was back in the day. I mean, you're talking years ago.
Yeah.
With Roberto Clemente and them.
Baseball is like one of the oldest sports.
I mean, you're talking since 1800. I mean,
And then NL or AL
or NL East.
NL East.
The Mets.
Mets.
No.
Braves.
Braves won quite a few. but
Okay,
they were
Milwaukee- Just write them down. Braves.
Phillies.
Phillies.
The fucking Phillies.
Marlins.
Used to be the A's. Philadelphia A's.
Braves. Oh, you know who we and Nationals, but they were the Expos.
But the Expos didn't win shit. I got
Okay.
4 teams here.
The problem is we have 3 of them to get. Who do you feel the best about?
The 2 and 3 are tied.
Okay.
They have the same amount.
I know the Giants have 3. I just know it.
But I also know they won about 4 or no 2 or 3.
Well, here the Yankees have 27. Don't the Cardinals have what 11?
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow, that's a big difference.
yeah. So
But you're talking.
you're looking at the Cardinals are number 2, correct?
Yeah.
The Cardinals are 2 at 11.
Well, the next
So
one.
if you're saying the Giants won a few,
The next was probably at 8.
okay. I know the Giants won 3. It's up to you if you think they won. Do you think they won 5 before then?
I think they won 4 before then. So give
That's got to be in the top 5 then.
because you're going to take because the Giants used to be in New York.
Let's say the Giants.
Giants.
The Giants are number 5.
Oh shit.
They're number 5.
Oh
Fuck.
shit.
I was thinking they're number.
So the last 2 are tied for 3rd.
Yes.
How many do the Giants have? Can you tell us
I
that?
don't have the numbers. I can pull them up if you want.
Shit. So we know we got the
I
Giants.
feel like the A's are in there. I do.
I do. That's one that I. Then the
The Giants have 8.
ooh. So somebody's got 9 or 10 then?
There's 2 tied at 9. Cardinals have 11.
Do you think the A's have 9 World Series wins?
And Yanks have 27.
The problem is you got like
Do you think the Braves have 9?
shit. No, I don't think the Braves have 9.
I only know from like 2000.
And
And it's a fucking
the funny
giant.
thing is, I know from you know what?
Better start rock, paper,
I'm going with
scissors.
that one.
I'm cool with the A's as well.
A's.
The A's is tied for 3rd.
Oh, baby, here we
The
go.
next team, I don't think
You
it's
got
either
to
one.
figure out the next team.
I don't think it's either one of those teams. That's the problem.
Could be.
Okay, he's saying it could be, so it's definitely not one of those two.
Because they used to be Milwaukee. We went to Atlanta, and they didn't win that.
Okay, let's think about teams that have moved. Those are the oldest teams. Who were the Yankees playing in the fucking dynasties, like the way back dynasties?
The
New York
Cardinals,
Knickerbockers.
the Dodgers. They played the Dodgers a lot. But
I
they
can't believe
played.
that.
They,
What a poverty franchise it is. Jesus Christ.
they played. Shit.
Okay,
The
here.
A's.
Let me rephrase it. Who are the oldest teams that have changed into now? Like, I don't know when the Expos were created.
The 80s.
Okay, so that's not them. When I think of old teams,
Toronto and Baltimore and Montreal, which was the Expos, didn't come until the 80s.
okay.
So you take them out. And neither one of them. And Toronto won in 90.
What about the
91.
Phillies? What about the Phillies?
The Phillies is what has got me.
There's a lot of old teams you guys have named. That could be it.
I know.
I fucking hate you. What cocksucker.
I love that we introduced this segment. It's my favorite.
Phillies is one that I would put on that list.
Okay, what
I
about,
do not.
what
think
about the
team-
Mets? I'm asking. I don't know.
The Mets did not come into what the 70s
So
probably.
you cross off the Braves.
because
Don't listen to them.
because the Giants, Dodgers, and Yankees all used to be in New York.
Yes.
So and then those two.
Okay, who the hell are they playing?
The Knickerbockers.
Dude, shut up.
No, that was basketball.
Nope, that was the first MLB.
That was a
That's
first
true.
original team, but that was. I think they turned into be the Yankees. See, Boston was terrible. Cubs were.
It can't be Boston. They had a 100-year
Cubs were
streak.
terrible.
Yeah.
I mean,
What about the Reds? I mean, they had like Pete Rose way back then.
way back, man? That's 70s.
That's way back then. That's 30 years before I was born.
I know, but
That
they
was
didn't win that
54
many.
years ago.
They won.
Yeah,
They won a
half a
couple.
century
They
ago.
won one or something in the 90s.
What about when Paul O'Neill was there? They weren't winning World Series
I
then?
think they won one.
Okay. What about the Padres? They had Tony Gwynn back in the day.
Yeah, they didn't win any shit.
Okay, well, I'm asking.
The A's too.
I don't
Huh?
know.
Tony Gwynn.
I don't
No,
think
Tony
so.
Gwynn's a
Padre.
Padre.
He's
Back
Mr.
there.
Padre. I know it's not the Diamondbacks.
No, I know.
It's got to be a team East. It can't be West.
No,
It's
Unless-
got to be a team East.
It's got to be the Phillies. God damn, the Pirates. The Pirates were driving that.
I know.
Because the Pirates were good in the 60s. But I don't think they won that many.
I kind of think it's the Pirates.
No, I do not.
It could be.
I really
I'm not
think it
even
might be. I really think it might be. I mean, how many rings did Clemente win? I mean, that guy played when dirt was being
Maybe
invented.
two, but they haven't won. They haven't won a World Series since what? The 60s?
I don't know.
They haven't won one.
I don't know if they've ever won one.
They did. I know that.
So who do you think it is?
This is gonna piss me
You don't
off.
know who I think it is?
I don't give a fucking shit what you think. It's not the Cubs.
It's gonna piss me off. I don't know this one.
If you had to guess right now, what would you guess?
No. What gets me is see Boston won a shit ton.
I mean,
In
Boston.
1900 and 1910.
Okay, well, 1910.
From 1900 to 19.
Okay, well, let's think about Boston's recently. They won in like 18. Yes.
Mhm.
They won in like
4 and
14,
11.
13,
14. And then
and
4.
an 11,
And 4.
and 4. I mean, you're at 4 already.
And then they won a bunch back in.
Is it Boston?
I'll drink
wanna
it.
go with Boston?
Boston.
It's Boston.
I got to thinking about the 1900s. I'm like, man, Boston won a shit ton then.
Let's go!
I thought I finally stumped you guys.
About time.
I gave you the one strike because I knew you would guess Dodgers.
I really thought it was them. Damn it.
Who do you think you are? I am.
My problem with Boston, I did not think about they won 4
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fucking miserable. I know.
They would have won 5.
So they won 9. They won.
Yeah.
I mean, they won 5. Yeah, from 1900 to 1920, they were like the best team in baseball.
Is that when Ted Williams played, or was he
No,
after
He
that?
was after that.
That was a long time ago.
I mean, Ted Williams could have played in 1400. I don't
Great
know.
Grandpa was watching that.
Okay,
Great grandpa. was
Yeah.
watching that.
that's awesome. That was
They were
good.
watching. It was on the TV.
That was good. I mean, that's electric.
Yeah,
I mean, that
got
doesn't
me.
get you fired up. I don't know what.
That got me. That got me. I gotta get it. All right.
I can't believe you guys got it. I wanted to see Freedom Funnel so
We
bad.
are baseball wizards out here.
Comment if Roy should still do a Freedom Funnel.
Not this time. Maybe next time. All right. So I guess it's my turn. Oh, this is yours.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess my quote. This is about best friends. All right. Best friends don't care if your house is clean. They care if you have alcohol. That's all that matters.
We have a keg right here that we've been hammering this whole time.
Yeah, Bryce filled that up, and we just been drinking it. So
I did not.
Yeah, that's not true. I walked in and Roy had 12 cans on the counter pouring into that thing.
There's a 30 rack in there.
just hope they were learning it sometime. All right.
All right. I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, this was a hell of an episode. Shout out to the winners of the giveaway
Giveaway?
that we did. We're going to do another one, so keep liking and following.
Yep.
You might have a chance to win. Obviously, we pay out. Keep liking, following, subscribing. Comment down below what you want to see. We're just having fun doing this,
Yeah.
We want to entertain you guys. So anything that you guys comment for us to do, we'll add it into the podcast,
Yeah.
TikToks, whatever.
We're obviously not out here doing this for money. You know,
We have not made a
we're,
cent.
we have not made a cent. We spent.
We're all in
I'm
the
going to be
hole.
honest. I've spent hundreds of dollars on this.
Yes.
I'm here to have fun, and I'm having a blast. I don't care. So,
Yep.
Make sure you hit the like
I'm
button,
just the old
subscribe.
guy just trying to give advice.
The helmet will be the next giveaway.
Yeah, you better hope your whole school subscribes, and I better be making more than a cent.
This might be the next one I give away.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I think that's going to do it. Next week, we will have 3 more teams again, and we are running out of baseball divisions. Baseball is getting ready to start here soon. We have the AL Central next week for baseball, and the 3 football teams are Raiders, Saints, and Colts. And again, possibly, this is one that is in question, we might have another special guest for the Raiders. So,
I might be able to get one for the Colts. I'll look into it.
okay, so that'll be next week on Tuesday. Hit the like button, subscribe, and check out our TikTok channel because we will be having a lot of TikToks come out this week. But I don't think I have anything else.
Maybe Jameson Winston will come in for the Giants.
It's Jameis. Why do you say Jameson?
because I like the alcohol.
I guess. All right. Peace.
See ya.
All right.
It's like when Josh is a faggot comment.
You do it every
I can't believe that fucking we got
I-
Boston.